beginner's guide to measure your brows. So I do find this is the hardest process to do at the beginning. So you will need one of these. These are available on eBay. It's an eyebrow measuring tool. And this is fab because it's got your measurements on the front. In addition to that, it's got your metal stoke that you are able to measure the front of the brow, the arch and the tail. And it just gives you your confidence when you're measuring and making those symmetrical brows. So the basic beginner guide is we will place a piece of pencil at the very bottom of here, and you'll swipe that up in the middle of somebody's nose. So this will be symmetrical to the middle of the nose, and you'll swipe that up. In addition to that, you will then do a generic measurement of 3 centimeters. So this should line up with the corners of the eyes. And in addition to that, that is where your generic measuring will be. However, some people's brows may come inside of these lines. So you will adjust by 0.5 centimeters. Just by adjusting, we are compensating for that brow hair. Less is more, so we don't want to get rid of too much hair. So if they've got growth here, we want to keep it, unless it's creeping too far in, and then we will make a nice symmetrical line. The smallest you'll probably ever go is about 2 centimeters because you don't want to be too close. In addition to that, we have our 3 centimeters here. You'll then use your middle line. So this middle line will then be measured 4.5 centimeters to get that to the arch of the brow. And that's the arch of the brow that we will stop at, ready to bring it down to the tail. So the generic one will be 4.5 centimeters. You will then have your pencil on the side. And as you press it on the skin, you'll swipe up. You're not going to be putting this all through the brow. You want to put it just above the brow and swipe up. You will then mirror and match that on this side. So you will make sure you've got the exact same measurements on each brow. So when we measure one, we'll mirror and match. In addition to that, we will then go for the tail. So that will then be measured at the front part of the brow to the tail. Again, you can bring these down to the corners if you find it easier, because you're not going to be pressing it on this side to push up. You're going to press here and swipe up. In addition to that, you'll mirror and match onto the other brow to make sure that they're both symmetrical. What you can then do with your metal stoke is double check that these are aligned through the side of the nose, the edge of the pupil, and through the corner of the eye. However, especially the tail, if they have hair down here, we want to keep that. We don't want to be removing that. Unless the client states they don't want this here. We will then compensate this by 0.5, or in addition to that, it may be 1, depending on how fab the brows are. And in addition to that, we will then measure and match. So we always want to make sure that we're using our generic middle of the nose, either side of the eyes. So those tear ducts, swiping up, 4.5 centimeters from center to arch, and then from front to end is 5 centimeters. However, again, adjust slightly to your client's eyebrows.